Hi, I'm Kelsey. I'm 22 years old. I have type 1 diabetes and I chose to take a gap semester straight out of college. I knew that there was more to see than what I could learn in the classroom, and I wasn't going to let my diagnosis get in the way of that. I learned German in Berlin, Germany, and I had an internship in Stockholm, Sweden. The experience was remarkable, and I chose to do it because I knew there was more out there. I wasn't ready to just go into a career without getting an understanding of what the world had to offer. And I'm so glad that I did, because as soon as I landed in London, I looked around and I saw all these faces of people who took the same risk as me, and I was just so excited, more excited than I had ever been. This experience taught me so much about what I could handle and so much about how to live my life, because I'm not afraid of the things that I used to be afraid of. A few months before taking off, I switched from manual insulin injections to the Omnipod. I did this because I knew it was going to be cold where I was going, and that requires layers. And who wants to take off all of their layers to give yourself an insulin injection to eat a crepe by the Eiffel Tower? Not me. So I was able to just type my carbs into my PDM, and it was all good. I didn't have to let diabetes take away from my experience. One thing I definitely recommend bringing is a cooler as your medical bag. I was able to put all my insulin in here, which allowed me to not have to stress about when I would be able to refrigerate my insulin. Some hostels have community refrigerators, like for the whole hostel instead of in your room. So I was able to just crack an ice pack, throw it in my cooler, and I knew that everything was fine. That really took away a lot of the stress. So I highly recommend that. When I was approaching my departure, I was naturally super nervous. I had many doctor's appointments to figure out how to get my 3 months of insulin and insulin pumps and continuous glucose monitors, all of that stuff, and it all worked out. I was able to get it. I took off. Airports were not as difficult as I thought they would be. I had doctor's notes that I made copies of so that any problems through security, which luckily I didn't have, I would be able to get through. In fact, one of my favorite memories from the trip was in an airport. Our tour guide, Sophia, handed us all out different little snacks like Kit Kats and candy, and she came up to me separately and gave me a protein bar that she bought in the airport. That just meant so much to me because she saw me in that moment and everything was unfamiliar, but she saw me and gave me that comfort. Once I was settled in with my new roommates, I took the time to explain what type 1 diabetes is. I explained that I might go low and you might hear me beep, but I'll just need a juice box, and if ever an extreme situation, I explained how to use a glucagon, which is for if I were to be unresponsive because of a low. They knew how to help me out. Shout out Sophia, Ruby, and Malia. They were incredible in being supportive and comforting. EF really knew what they were doing when they paired us as roommates. I definitely recommend establishing a support system before you take off. I was lucky enough to have a fantastic doctor and pharmacist who stayed in touch with me throughout my journey. Whenever I had a concern or a question, I could just send it to them, and they made it all feel okay. I knew that I could possibly get overwhelmed with diabetes, doing it all on my own in all these different countries, but they were there to comfort me. I even had a moment in Sweden when I got an infection where my old Omnipod was. I did not know what to do with this. I've never had that. So I was in Sweden, I was freaking out. So I sent her a text and she made it all better. She figured out a plan of action. So I went to the pharmacy, I talked to the pharmacist there, and she directed me to the local doctor's office. I was seen within a few hours, and I think for the doctor's visit and for the medication, I paid less than $50. It was honestly a really interesting experience. So definitely establish your support system. And I can't do this part without giving a shout out to my family and to May, my advisor. Everyone that I was able to reach out to and just get that comfort from really made it such a great experience. My ultimate favorite memory from this experience was when I came back together with my friends in Lisbon. We had all been off to different countries having different experiences, and when I saw them again for the first time, I could just see the growth. Everybody was more comfortable, more confident, and had a new perspective on life. It was such a beautiful thing to see. We were all so young, but saw so much. It was exciting and gave me hope for what the next few years of my life would look like. Taking the gap semester was my first step in not doing what was expected of me. I continued on with that by pursuing a service year with AmeriCorps. I knew that I had a passion for communication and marketing, but I didn't know what to do with it yet, so I took my skills and I used them for good. I now serve as an AmeriCorps Vista member at a health center here in New Jersey, serving an underserved population, and I get to build capacity at this company and know that my work really matters. I didn't let type 1 diabetes stop me from chasing my dreams, and neither should you. Take it from me, your EF gap year experience will be the time of your life. If you need more travel advice with type 1 diabetes, follow my Instagram page, T1Disco. I wish you the best of luck in your journeys and choose courage over comfort. It'll pay off.